Olsen Run Comedy Club, are you guys ready for a fucking comedy show? All right, your first comic of the evening is a local Eugene comic. He is hilarious. You guys are gonna love him. Ladies and gentlemen, clap it up for your host for the evening, Max Brockmann.
First thing, let's make some noise for the awesome staff here at Olsen Run. Yes. Fantastic. Are you guys excited for Harlan Williams? Yes, I am. We have a fantastic show. I'm so excited. I'm your host, Max Brockmann, and this is a joke. Sometimes I like to smoke a plant. I won't say which plant, but I will say this. It starts with marijuana, and it ends with both of my arms stuck in Pringles cans. Sometimes I like to smoke a plant. I won't say which plant, but I will say this. It starts with marijuana, and it ends with me opening 20 stores and gentrifying the neighborhood. I've lived on the West Coast my whole life. I love it here. I love my Midwest friends, but there's some culture shock when they move here, because it's all flat there. There's no mountains. So every time one of my Midwest friends sees a slight hill here, they think it's a mountain. That's a thing. So I went on a road trip with one of my Midwest friends. She points out the window and she goes, "What's the name of that mountain?" And I said, "That's a Burger King parking lot." I'm sorry, Mount Burger King parking lot. So my girlfriend sends me pictures of her cat every day. I get dozens of pictures of her cat, and it's adorable. I love him. But I'm pretty sure I think that he thinks that his job is to be a plus-size cat model, just the way he looks at the camera. And your phone will do things where it'll make an album of all the photos. It'll be like, summer. That's all the pictures you took during summer. I had a new album pop up yesterday that just said, "Your son." I don't have a son. I have a furry stepson named Ace, and he's adorable. I open it, it's 1,000 pictures of an obese cat doing a duck face. I was standing next to a female friend of mine, and someone called us a handsome couple. It's one of those things where we both got disgusted right away, right? She's like, "We're not a handsome couple." I'm like, "That's right. We're not handsome or a couple. We are ugly friends." My day job, I work as a caregiver. I take care of older people for a living. I spent 35 minutes last night trying to convince an adult to let me change their underwear. People complain about babies, but babies don't talk back. My baby talks back, and my baby fought in Vietnam. My favorite person I take care of, I'm gonna call her Molly Ringwald because I want to protect her privacy and because I cry when I watch Pretty in Pink and I want that back. So Molly says the same thing every single time I talk to her. She goes, "I've been everywhere in the world, even Alaska," which is a weird thing to say. But last night she confused the word Alaska with Alcatraz, which is different. She's got, "I've been everywhere in the world, even Alcatraz." What's the other word? Alaska. What's the other word? Alcatraz. Alaska and Alcatraz are not the same. One is a prison hellscape, and the other one is an island off of San Francisco. A little bit about me. I'm what you call a sober person. There's two different types of sober people in the world. There's a type of sober person who never started doing drugs in the first place, and then there's the type of sober person who used to have fun. I'm that kind of sober person. I used to have fun. This guy told me that I must be bad at doing drugs because I had to stop doing them. It's the exact opposite. I am so good at doing drugs that I had to retire undefeated. Yeah, I'm like the Michael Jordan of drinking too much and stealing a penguin from the zoo. I'm so good. I used to leave myself notes on my hand with a Sharpie when I was blacked out drunk, and I'd see the note in the morning when I was sober. I woke up one morning with a note on my hand saying, "Don't open your eyes." I used to set up dates for myself when I was blacked out drunk and then go on the date sober. It's like going on a blind date I set up myself, except the only thing I know about my date was what's on my notes on my hand. Like, she works at an aquarium and has a strong arm. Now, I like a girl with a strong arm as much as the next guy, but there is no aquarium in Eugene. So I go on the date, I find out this person works at a pet store and has a cast on her arm. And a can of Pringles on the other arm. I used to do drugs that destroyed my mind, my body, and my spirit. Now I drink diet soda, so my health is exactly the same. This guy told me that if I don't wear my helmet on my bike, that I could die. I told him I have died 3 times from drug overdoses. And you know what? Wearing a bike helmet only would have helped one of those times. I love movies. I love going to the movies. I don't like 3D movies. It's a gimmick. But I do like 7D movies. A 7D movie is a lot like a 3D movie, except instead of getting 3D glasses, you just get LSD. Not only will things pop out of the screen, but you will taste the acting. And if you have not tasted Nicolas Cage, your review of National Treasure is meaningless. I love going to the movies. Unfortunately, my favorite movie theater doesn't exist anymore. Does anyone remember the $1.50 theater? Yeah. Oh yeah, you're my people here. Anyone who's young or moved here, if you don't know, I'll give you the lowdown. When I was a small child, there was a new, pristine Cinemark 12 in Springfield. And by the time I was a teenage mall rat, it was a rundown piece of shit $1.50 theater. Because there was $1.50, 50 cents on Wednesdays. And this place was magic. It was magic. Every employee looked like it was their first job while also looking like they just got out of a year-long prison sentence. It was fantastic. Everything was run down about this $1.50 theater except for the concession prices. It was the same jacked up shit, so no one bought anything. Because the exchange rate didn't work out. Because you could like buy a large popcorn, or you could see National Treasure 17 and a half times. Like, you're not going to buy the popcorn. But my favorite thing about the $1.50 theater was the clientele. 3 specific groups would go to the $1.50 theater, and it was the dregs of society. It was teenage mall rats like myself, unemployed people killing time, and families. The dregs of society. And because of this, every experience I had at the $1.50 theater is ingrained in my mind forever. If you ask me, Max, have you seen the last Star Wars movie? Like, yeah, probably. I don't remember it whatsoever. But if you ask me, Max, have you seen You, Me, and Dupree? Yes, I have. At the $1.50 theater, there was a teenage couple behind me making out. There was a guy in front of the screen in a sleeping bag. And there was a family next to me eating a rotisserie chicken. All right, I want to finish my set. I want to tell you guys my celebrity story. Everyone's got a celebrity story. This is the time I met a celebrity. It's a few years ago, outside of a Starbucks, and a weird guy started going up to everyone outside of the Starbucks. And I could tell that he wasn't asking for money, but it was awkward. And if you can't tell by now, I specialize in awkward. I love it. So when he came up to me, I was like, okay, man, I'm down. No hard sell. What's happening? And he goes, do you know who's inside of Starbucks right now? And I said, no. Who? He goes, Randy Johnson. And I said, who? He goes, Randy Johnson's a Hall of Fame baseball player, played for the Yankees. Okay, we're gonna pause the story just for 1 second, because you need to know one important piece of information to understand this story, and that is that Randy Johnson is not known for being in the Hall of Fame. Randy Johnson is known for one thing and one thing only, which is killing a bird with a fastball during a baseball game. Yes. Has over 10 million views on YouTube right now. So, and that's life, right? Like, you go to the Hall of Fame, no one cares. You kill one bird that owes you rent money, and that's on your tombstone forever. So back to the story. I had to ask this guy the one question that mattered, which was this. Why are you out here preaching the good word of Randy Johnson instead of inside a Starbucks, partying with Randy Johnson? And he said the one thing I will never forget in my entire life. He looked at me and he said, the people inside of Starbucks don't think I should be in there anymore. That's what it crystallized in my mind. This guy got kicked out of Starbucks for stalking Randy Johnson. So he finally leaves. About 10 minutes later, about a half an hour after that, a tall, muscular, mustache man walks out of Starbucks. And I look up and I take a wild stab and I say, Randy Johnson? Randy Johnson looks down at me and he goes, yeah, are you a baseball fan? And I said, no. The look of fear in the eyes of Randy Johnson, I can only equate to one other thing in existence, which is the look of fear in the eyes of a bird right before it's murdered with a fastball by Randy Johnson. That's because he knew that if I didn't know him from baseball, I could only possibly know him from one other place. He looked at me and he goes, is that guy still here? That's a story about how I met a celebrity, Randy Johnson stalker. That's my time. Thank you. All right. Oh, you guys ready for our featured acts? All right. This guy's so funny. He just did voice acting for a new video game. He was a founding member on SNL. Please keep it going for the very funny Jeff Richards.